my loves. So it's July 21st. It's definitely a fairly intense week astrologically speaking. Um the Leo new moon is happening, and as you guys, I'm sure you're aware by now, if you're regulars here, that it's all about the way the astrological transits impact our personal natal chart. So if we have early degree placements in the fixed signs Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, we might feel this. We might be feeling these release points, right? New moons are great times to seed intention. I just did the daily share for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You guys know I'm putting a little bit of the shorts here. The shorts seem to work better algorithmically than my long form, so I appreciate sharing the videos for those of you who think you know people who would be interested, and liking, and if you're brand new, to subscribe. So my patrons get ad-free first access. They're the ones that are financially supporting the content creation here. So they get ad-free first access. They also get access to my Be the Change online courses, 10% discount on readings, and working with me in a yoga way. I'm a longtime yoga meditation teacher, so that's a lot of what I do behind the scenes, are teaching and sharing and holding people accountable to their yoga, meditation, and breathwork practice. So the new moon in Leo is really sparking and or inciting where and how could we be expressing ourselves more, shining more, tapping into our inner child energy, and giving ourselves permission to have more joy, romance, creativity, right? And of course, depending on where that is in our chart, that can come about in different ways. There's also, with the Mars and South Node conjunction, there's going to be a really big karmic release, something that we might have intuited is coming in any sense. And of course, again, it's the way that it's aspecting our chart, but either way, what we'll see collectively is potential for a little bit of violence or volatility. So just be mindful of that, right? Keep yourselves safe. Ooh, I don't know why my phone kind of just voluntarily gives me these updates. Yeah, safety and healing, belonging, and connected communities, the notes, the simple notes for today. And I think because my own intuition, the way I noodle with thoughts, it's making me realize how like fundamental our ability to feel safe here is connected to our ability to heal, and then connected to our ability to authentically express ourselves. When we don't feel safe for whatever reason, it's not like we can't be ourselves. We can't fully express ourselves. So that reclamation of this, of the safety of our inner child, is also what helps us to break through and express ourselves authentically. And of course, a lot of us will have different layers of trauma, things that happened in our childhood or throughout our lives that inhibit that authentic expression. And then those inhibitions are often how we adapt and learn to protect ourselves, thus masking, right? Wearing a mask, projecting a false identity that worked at a certain point to get attention, to be good, to whatever it might be. And yet, this new moon in Leo is likely to be shining light on maybe where and how that is a falsity, a false mask, like not truly who we are, and then how to uncover the truth of who we are, right? And again, that could be exploring our joyful endeavors. Like what is truly joyful for you? Just putting it out there. What is truly joyful for you? And then I would also point to our own personal autonomy. Not what we think is joyful for so and so, not what we think is joyful to be receiving validation, no, etc., right? Not looking to please, unconsciously pleasing our parents or pleasing people, but what is true for the authentic self. And I think this is really, really powerful for the continuation of the collective shifting. And of course, because it's a spark of joy, this is really connected to our or yes, our collective, the humanity's liberation, or simply the greater sense of freedom. Because we can do all the healing and we can, yeah, just that. We can do the healing. Was it in this daily share I said this or here? But if it's not bringing us greater joy, if it's making us feel heavier, if it's actually making us feel worse, we want to take note of those things. That's how often within these healing communities and modalities that there's that little kickback. I don't really have a problem really. I endeavor to see the value in all and everything, but I recognize in our conscious evolution that we outgrow certain things. And so collectively there's a witnessing of how we could be outgrowing certain aspects of like the medical industry or the education system, or these things that are locked into a three-dimensional perspective rather than this greater expansion into a quantum reality via a unity perspective versus separation and fear, old paradigm, three-dimensional, higher timeline, greater expansive unity connection, understanding the cosmic grid via that those quantum codes, which help us heal vibrationally via light, via the conscious awareness that we can employ, right, through presence, and how we as autonomous being can be working with the cellular activity of these bodies and be expressing that lightness and that radiance into the field. Expression, right? Leo. And so people can be increasingly dissatisfied with having to work so many hours for so little pay. People can be increasingly dissatisfied with taking all the pills and not feeling any better. So, and then again, often it's these things, these sort of traumas or these sort of unsatisfactory loops that we're in that lead us into greater autonomy and greater choice. Divine will is choice to be free, to be more joyful. It's something that over the years, when I've practiced yoga internationally with thousands of people now, that people will be like, "Oh, thank you so much. Like, I really had a fun time." And that's something that I think, like, when we're embodying a modality authentically, it's not austere and dogmatic and like this is the only way to do yoga. It's like freedom and innocence, because yoga helps us feel better in our bodies. So then we can express more authentically and then hopefully grow old gracefully and etc. Right? So it's like it ideally, from my personal perspective, all these healing modalities shouldn't make us harder and more austere and more like angry. But although we can express authentically, right? I'll feel anger, I'll feel these things. It's just that owning it helps to pull the awareness within to go, oh, interesting. Why am I feeling that way? What is that? What could that possibly be? And there again is the authenticity, our ability to be authentic creators, right? Where we're not seeking validation externally. We're not, and that there again, that's so nuanced, because what part of us is seeking that validation? What does it serve? What projection is it upholding? Or what identity? That's often, right, with that present space, that's often what we can perceive, is that a lot of our triggers are pointing to a false identity, right? And the way that we can be hooking into people, places, and things that then support that identity, versus when that falls away, who are we? If we lose a job, if we lose a relationship, if we lose money, if we lose a home, are we still able to be who we are, in our authenticity? And that's this Leo new moon. Let me look at the transits, you guys. So the Leo new moon is happening roughly on the 24th of July. Pardon me. And then we have the Mars South Node conjunction happening roughly on the 22nd. So it really is like a jam-packed week of pretty potent astrological events or celestial events. And I'm looking at how I've got like one of these mystic rectangles and a kite. And interesting, I was looking at my entire family. Certainly, I was looking at my sister, my mother's, and my birth chart. And I thought it was really interesting that all three of us are having a kite formation in our personal natal charts during this week, which made me think, oh, but then that's also the nodes for you. And if I were to look at the synergy chart, that is exactly like what karma does. Karma has, and like when we look at synergy charts, that's often how we can know that these are karmic relationships. These are people that we are destined to meet. For with regards to obviously some of our family members, that's an indication of lifelong karma with these people, right? Lifelong karma. And then when things line up like a kite with this Mars and South Node conjunction, it's like, yeah, these are destiny points that are written in the sky pre-birth. Our soul is like, right. And that's something I think is quite funny because they talk about how often is the case that Saturn rules Capricorn, it rules Aquarius. I have a lot of Capricorn in my chart. My sister, she has a lot of she has Capricorn as well, but she's got a fair bit of Aquarius. So there's a definite Saturnian energy for both of us. And they in the astro world, they joke about how Capricorn and Aquarius, because it's Saturn ruled, will often like upfront all their karma and be like, right, I'm gonna get this shit sorted out early in life so that at some point I can just enjoy myself. And to me, this new moon in Leo is really a kind of kickoff point of like, right, that's all over now. You're not going back into those cycles. You're not going back into, and that's all. And there again, to me, it's pointing to these unconscious childhood wounds where we're seeking validation, we're seeking protection, we're seeking, in a sense, to protect ourselves by the false identity. Now we rip off more masks. Now we let go of more false identities so that we can be our most authentic self, our most pure self, and live in that autonomy, live in that sovereignty, freedom, right? To be truly free in our ability to express who we are is like, who needs money? All right. Who needs power and status when we have the capacity? We ourselves, as an authentic being, have the ability to resource our joy, to know what we love. That's part of it. Know what we love. And ideally, like some positive, good, healthy things that we love. Maybe we go to walking. Maybe we go to the beach. Maybe we, right? And there's an increasing element of this expansion where we trust that we find our people. We trust that we find the people that light us up as and when they do. And I can totally testify to that. Like there's ebbs and flows and a lot of self-resourcing here. And at the same time, different people will drop in and then you're like, "Hola!" And then there are people that allow us to go have a boogie or go have a nice walk or what have you. So trusting that those people appear in our physical environment to support us in harnessing that greater authentic, joyful expression. I'm getting a bit of a side note there too with regards to being mindful. The Mars K2, K2, I think it is. I just said it, but that's the South Node. That conjunction can often be, because Mars is involved, just be aware that that could be a signature of some violence or volatility. Just putting it out there. as in people might be a little bit more reactive. People might, right? Or we ourselves might feel reactive. How dare you? Okay, so I'm just loving my journal. Yeah, so just be aware of that signature. That's hence being guided intuitively, trust your flow, trust your path, right? And then maybe Leo. Leo is often pointing to leadership, people in powerful positions like celebrities, politicians. So just hold space for that as well. There could be some mega stuff that's going on in the bigger, wider world out there. But again, even in our, personal worlds and realities, just to be mindful of that, the edginess, I would put it to, like that Mars South Node conjunction, people might be more easily triggered. Simple as that. People might be a little bit edgy. Allow, right? And then there's something too, again, the Leo, the child, that we're not constantly looking for validation outside of self. And something else about assumptive reasoning, that we're not making assumptions. That's often a real trick of the mind. We assume we know. I was getting that a lot over this last week. Like, we think we know other, but we really only know other via the lens of self, which is why that the teachings of knowing thyself is such a profound, like, I can pretend I know other, but I'm only ever knowing other via the lens of self. Right? Like, as in, it's only our own little perceptual bubble. And that is an infinite, multi-dimensional knowing. And that's also Uranus moving into Gemini, sextiling with the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries, right? Like, because all these karmic loops are getting washed away or stamped out, like, dude, boom, you passed that one. Now we're on to that one, my lovers. Because Uranus is trining Pluto. That's a benevolent energy of transformation and, like, more people awakening to these deep and profound truths of self. And then Neptune and Saturn to me is like lighting up the mind, i.e. the vision, the dream, for Saturn to go, okay, this is how we're going to structure this in. There's an Astrolata update that really, I remember getting like constant goosebumps with it too. I don't think I shared it on the platform, but if I find it, I'll share it. And I really resonated with what she was talking about like more divinity, more like, yeah, just positivity and like, and that again makes me think of the kind of age of Aquarius, but more authentic communities, high vibratory. But remembering that high vibratory is not falseness. It's authenticity. It's like being ourselves. Being ourselves is a full spectrum of high, low, good, bad, right, wrong, like dense and lightness, right? Like the fullness of who we are isn't like, oh, look, this 20 minutes of a broadcast, that's me. And so you know exactly me kind of thing. There's a fullness. There's good days and bad days. There's light days and dense days. It's just, there's this sort of increasing awareness of structuring my own life so that I can show up in the authenticity, but also in a certain integrity with the work. And that is something that has taken me years to structure that in, as far as like not feeling the need to overshare, right? I've definitely picked up on that the oversharing could be coming from the place of wounding and lack. Okay, divine guide or not, but that's why I'll keep lots of these videos from all the years that I've been broadcasting on the channel. Maybe some of that oversharing from 7 years ago could be helpful for somebody, right? Unless I feel guided to close down the channel and restart. Part of me thinks I might do a kind of a yoga, breathwork, meditation channel with my other channel, All to Love. We'll see. Divine guidance. This is going to my patrons. So let's see what the cards have to say. Yes, and that is a little incentive for any of you catching this throughout this week. If you want to sign up to my patrons, they get the first broadcast. So they're energetic collective. This reading is really for them, but of course it can resonate because I tend to put these out. It might resonate with more of you, right? But the exclusive readings do get out to my patrons as and when. Divine guidance, love and clarity. Oh, I am just thinking, because I was looking forward to my broadcast this morning with you guys, and I got a very visceral image of like a tide going out, like really far, which then makes me think of like tsunamis and stuff like that. Tsunamis, earthquakes, but it was more metaphor-ish of like, okay, you know, where the waves go, where'd the water go? The tide has gone way out. Like further than we've ever known before, which again is requiring the deep trust, deep patience that's coming back. And that's going to support us on our merry way, right? And then again, psychically, it's not like I'm conjuring this out of my own ether, but I've heard it on the social media grapevine as far as like Japan, parts of Western North America, earthquakes, tsunamis, these natural disasters, and the effects of global warming, again, climate change. These things are going to continue to like just happen. So this is also part of our divine connection and grace to move through the world in a sense of guided protection, right? Page of Swords, you guys, there's a message coming in. Divine guidance, love and clarity. Let's get into these cards. Happy Monday, my lovers. July 21st, we're at it. Well and truly into the summer. Ooh, that makes me think of we're heading into Leo season. Obviously, Leo new moon. Hi. Okay, so 22nd, we have the Mars and K2 conjunction. Just be extra careful, be extra mindful, really, really trust yourself. Hold space rather than being reactive. That's obviously a continued practice, right? Hold space for self. What are we feeling? What are we thinking? Etc. Can we go deeper within that thought feeling landscape and try to figure out why we might be feeling and thinking these things? Divine guidance and loving clarity. A lot of masculine energy. Leo's the fire energy anyway, so that is masculine signature. With the Page of Swords, a messenger, or just something being kind of cut out. So there's sort of like a new beginning in there could be a new beginning in a friendship circle. There could be, this looks like a lack of communication with one person. Like, there's so much going on. There's so much happening in my life. There's not a lot of communication. The sword energy, the Page of Swords here is also cut, looking over, got lots of stuff going on, not communicating. But there is this new beginning here that we could be expressing and or inviting. Now there's two characters. There's King of Cups in the reverse, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Fire King here with the Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. What's the energy? I mean, okay, these could be people coming into our awareness. These, yeah, definitely energies like charging on in. Oh, I'm hearing suitors. So for some of you, this is suitor. People want to date you. Knight of Wands, like hala hala hala. Knight of Swords, hala hala. Double fold, especially with the Four of Wands. The Knight of Swords could be signing of contracts and celebrating a new foundation, celebrating a new job, celebrating an engagement, celebrating a new friendship, celebrating just good times, like let's celebrate. We signed the contract. You got the job. The creative project's taking off. We signed on a new home. You bought a new house and now you're going to sign the documents or whatever, right? Grand new beginning after a conflict, inner battle, inner conflict. I just got that message too of one of the shorts last week, and it come through my airwaves. Part of me thinks it's in jest a little bit, but then there's that other part where you're like, no, that makes sense. Actually, mass narcissistic collapse, where there's enough empowered empathic energy within the collective that the empath community is no longer fueling or feeding narcissism in the oversoul, in the great mind of the human Christ body, the human mind. So the meek inheriting the earth is like the holy empathic community is rising into greater empowered autonomy to not be fueling these narcissistic tendencies. Because again, usually within a narcissistic system, you could say, they need the supply, they need the lightness, they want that reflection, they want somebody to fuel, to validate, to give themselves attention. And so with that collapsing grid, we're having a greater sense of empowered, hala, new beginning, more abundance, more security, more just support, like real support, right? Now, this is fast moving energy here. Yeah, I say that with the collapse, right? So we're seeing structures fall. And this is, again, an awakening individually, collectively, that can also be representative of fractures in the system itself. Yeah. The mass narcissistic collapse, like the structures that once upheld these relationships, those structures are no longer there, right? As in, we can't hook into them in the same way anymore. And it goes all the ways, essentially. Suitors, why is the 3? So changing of friendship circles, overcoming conflict. Ooh, baby. Moving toward these new beginnings. This could be quite fast moving energy as well, okay? Fast. Shattering illusions, narcissistic collapse. So that's also this Leo new moon wants the authentic child, wants the true expression of the child. That's the thing too. Like, children will explore and are curious and have fun and like, oh my God. But they also scream and they lash out and they go, I don't want that, right? Like, so it's our ability to authentically express who we are for self, right? And this is an intuitive rising. This is a singular energy. So this is, again, where some of us might be walking away from certain friendship circles to own the intuitive knowing, owning the intuition, versus feeding conflict or feeding narcissism. I'm hearing that song of "Come on, knock on a door." Only I think it's the nights where they're like they're ready to go. I'm gonna go that way. I want to go have fun with those people. There's a fair bit of celebration, but there's a shift in the dynamic of who and how we celebrate. So we might be celebrating with different folks. Different strokes for different folks. We're owning our intuition and likely having less communication with certain people. This is the 3 of Cups reverse. Like, peeps we used to enjoy, like, this is always a classic example of like outgrowing, I would say, party circles specifically, people who like to drink, do drugs, they're pare hard, and you're being like, no, I'm not really feeling this anymore, so I'm gonna yoink, go that way, and then eventually you're just like, okay, bye, I'm not gonna party with you guys anymore. And the Ten of Swords is also a confirmation of this. Ten of Swords, like, definitely the end of that cycle. Yeah, that, look, a double affirmation. Cycle ends. No, we're not hanging out with those people. Why? They're too sneaky, or I don't trust them, or whatever it might be. This is a psychological shift. This is a paradigm shift. These structures are not going to uphold our joyful, authentic expression anymore. Okay? Divine guidance here. Some of you guys might be feeling a bit exhausted. I mean, that kind of energy could always be relevant. I keep hearing it. Come on, knock on our door. That also, because there's a double Eight of Wands, where it's like once you get clarity, you might feel or moving forward as you get a little bit more emotionally grounded, there could be more messages come in. These messages, I feel, are more connected to that Ace of Wands. New beginnings, new passionate new beginnings, suitors. There could be some dates coming in. There could be creative project opportunities coming in. People who want to collaborate with you. Some of you, I get that little bit of like chameleon vibes. That, you know, being adaptable with the movement here. A keen eye, a seer, like having that wisdom, having that spiritual awareness. Ooh, interesting. Those are nice cards. So I just split the deck. There's the Trine and the Capricorn achievement. The new beginning, like I said, the creative project, new beginning. For some of you, there's definitely an uptick, a positive flow with regards to your career ambitions and achievements. Because trines and sextiles are flowing. They just naturally land. Things come in, you're like, okay, and then off you go, and you're like, woo, positive. It's not like crunchy squares, like, oh no, why is this happening, God? And then it's like, because you have to move, or because you have to change a career, or whatever. And so the Capricorn achievement energy is under that trine. So I would dare say there's positive energy flowing that are uplifting your career and or your sense of achievement. And that's also being represented in these cards, right? With all the aces, the new beginning energy, High Priestess. It's likely that you know it intuitively already. Overcoming conflict, leaving and or just stepping away from certain social circles that are a bit of a drain on your emotional energy. Fire, being lit up. It's like solar plexus energy. Wow. It's like you're wanting to be lit up. Leo, sun. The solar plexus, energetically speaking, that chakra system, that is our power. How we move through the world. Are we feeling empowered, or is this feeling dim? Clock it. And notice, like, how does that power center feel after hanging out with certain people? If it's drained, if people are putting you down and making you feel less powerful, maybe they're not your people. Just saying, right? Just taking note. I keep hearing again. No, come on, knock on our door. Divine guidance, love and clarity. Hala, 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 hala. The guidance card, as I say, divine guidance, love and clarity. Just these final messages. There really is an uptick now within self, within collective energies. A little bit more of a fluid and flowing energy. There could be messages that start to land. That could be messages we receive from within self and or messages that we be getting externally, right? It's like me listening to different astro that feeds my information grid that then allows me to share stuff that I also resonate with right with you guys. And so it's like the guidance we receive can often be relevant for the collective. But there again, the Tower, Seven of Swords, I'll reflect that. There is that mass narcissistic collapse. Structures that are being upheld out of fear-mongering, structures that are being upheld out of slavery and extraction, right? These paradigms that suck, basically. We're like, we're good. We're done. We don't want to do that anymore, but trust your intuition. This is the Supreme Being. This is the Holy Spirit. This is the Oversoul. This is the Christed consciousness. And no, is it all sunshine, rainbows, and pretty all the time? Fuck no. This is powerful. This is yes, heck yes, and heck no. I know myself. So it's the knowing of the self that leads to greater security, groundedness, abundance. This is fresh, new beginning. And being able to move away from energies that drain us, from energies that feel manipulative, from energies blah, blah, that are conflicting, that make us feel conflicted. Some of you are going to have some positive flowing energy around career. Some of you are really trying to get clear emotionally on like, what do you actually want? Because there's new beginning coming in. It's like, do I really want that? If it's a yes, yes. If it's a no, no. Knowing self, right? Some of you might want to do a bit of chakra clearing work as well, and or get centered. Get centered. Know your center. That's like the center tummy. That, right? The one that's connecting. Well, that's the heart as well, but like a very powerful connective force for the synergistic relationship of all the other chakras. But again, it's how we shine. Leo new moon. That's it. That's the energy update for this Leo new moon. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're just finding this video, give her a like. Feel free to subscribe to support the brand All to Love. I do have the T-Mill store. There's a notebook. There's a water bottle. It's all eco, sustainable. It's me, the brand, collaborating with the T-Mill, which I'm super grateful for. It's been such a joy creating that store and sharing some of those items around the world. And of course, if you want to join my Patreon community, you can sign up. I do believe I still have the free trial as an option, so you can check it out and have a free trial. There's a lower tier for $5. There's a higher tier for $20. My higher tier patrons get 10% discount when they book readings with me, 10% discount if they want to do regular yoga practice with me. And they also get access to the online yoga crew, which is a playlist that I've created over the years of lots of different yoga sequences. And they get access to the Be the Change online courses as per their request. That's going vegan, unplugging for freedom, getting to know their own spiritual connection. And really, to me, the Be the Change courses are really foundational pillars to the brand and how it's been born from within my own journey and my heart and my own guidance. So thank you all. Thank you to my Patreons. Sincerely, I so appreciate every single one of you. Truly, truly wishing you all a fantastic week ahead. Be true to yourselves and find that source of joy from within your own beingness, right? Quite a dynamic week ahead. Stay safe out there. Thank you for your likes, your subscribes, your shares, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Peace out.